All right. Hey guys, it is Joette with BalloonCoach.com, and today I am super excited that you guys are joining me. So it does say Balloon Boss behind me. This was the backdrop in Orlando back in November. It was designed by the wonderful Stuart Davies and put together by our team there, and it was a lot of fun. So no, I am not currently sitting in Orlando at a convention center, although I can't wait to be doing that again in November. So tonight we have Sharita from Greensboro, North Carolina, and the name of her company is Party of Five Events. And I was super blessed to meet this amazing woman back in November when she came to Promotions and Profits Retreat in Orlando, which we are now calling Balloon Boss Pro Summit. So she is going to talk to us about graduation gigs because she just put up an announcement yesterday in Balloon Coach community. And it was so exciting to see how many people responded to her post of, hey guys, I got the bid. And I'm like, yes. And it's great to see how many people were excited for her. And then when people started asking her questions. And then what many people find is when you share something online that's positive, your inbox is immediately filled with 800 questions.
Yeah.
So Sharita, I appreciate you reaching out to me and saying, hey, Joette, people are asking questions. I'd be glad to share my information, but let's do it one time, record it. And then that way you can be able to stay and build your business. So Sharita, I'd love for you to tell us just a little bit about yourself. I have a couple of photos off here that I grabbed from your social media.
I see. I was like, oh, that's me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been dabbling with balloons and actually doing it full time? Or not full time, but really digging into the business?
So I started in the balloon industry in April of 2019. So I'm just had my 1 year anniversary or birthday, whatever you want to call it.
Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. We started off with a personal event, and that's kind of how we, got into the industry. I've always done little parties and different things for family and decorated for friends. And my background, I was in education. I was a kindergarten teacher for many years. So I think I got my crafty side from just being in the school, making stuff, bulletin boards, just trying to make my classroom look good. And so I kind of always had a little niche and eye for decorating. And so I was able to transfer those skills over into the balloon industry. When I first started off, I was more broad. I was doing full party decor and doing full setups. And after a while, and especially after I came to the retreat, that's when I came back in November and decided we're going to scale down and we're going to focus and hone in on the balloon part of the company. And so we didn't completely stop, but I did tailor it down a lot. And so I kept, trying to find my niche. And before all the COVID stuff hit, it was balloons and backdrops and the signs. That was it. Kind of what I was saying, give them a place to take a great photo opportunity, a statement piece using balloons and a great backdrop. And so that's what we did. When COVID hit, like many other people, I started pivoting and moving more into the contactless deliveries and the yard art and different things. And so it's kind of how I got there. I'm not full-time currently, although I do have a succession plan from my job because I am a faculty member at a university and I'm on a grant, and my grant runs out in about 3 more years. Yeah, this is 2023. And so my plan has been, if for some reason the grant does not renew or I don't find another pot of money, I'll create my own in the balloon industry. And so that's where I currently stand. And we are a party of 5. People often ask me, who are the 5? It is obviously, I have 4 girls. And so we are the 5, and they are my staff.
I love it. And they are beautiful girls. And so, yeah, if you haven't followed Sharita, she's got some amazing things that she does on Instagram and understanding social media. And so that is one of the reasons I invited her to be a part of our dream team for our summit, is because she has just got this incredible energy about her that she uses the knowledge that she has from her past experiences in the cheer world, in the business world, in the teaching world. And when she left retreat, she went full force forward in going after what she wanted. And to me, that's one of the most exciting things, is because I was just on a training call today with the training that I pay for on being a business coach. And in that training, the gentleman was talking about how it's interesting how many people pay for training, but then never take action on what they learn. They ingest the information, but they don't take that next step to do activity and make the things that they've learned about reality. So one of the things I love about Sharita is she is a take action kind of girl and she goes full forward. So what happened is, Sharita, tell us a little bit about how you first found out about the schools.
So, I worked in the school system. And so I have a general, broad ideal of how school systems are set up. But this particular situation, I was staying current on what was going on in the schools, because my guess was something was going to happen. I don't know what the thing would be, but I was thinking there would be something, whether there's going to be a virtual graduation, whether there's going to be a delay, it'll be held next something. So I was following pretty closely what my county and school system with that county was going to do. And so that's number two on my point, was about keeping up with what was going on. I was joining the groups because when the yard art stuff hit, a lot of people were getting into the Adopt the Senior groups. And that was one of the strategies for selling that yard art, was in the graduation Adopt a Senior group. So I joined those groups as well. And obviously those parents in there were having conversations. And I also had a child in high school too that was graduating. So I'm keeping up. So I don't remember what day it was. I got a text from a parent that said, Guilford County Schools has announced they're going to do a drive-through graduation. And I'm going, okay. That means everybody's going to be in one place, maybe not at the same time, but they're all going to go to the same place. My initial strategy, I had two ways I decided I was going to approach it. Either I was going to approach it from the school level and go school by school and start making those contacts, or I was going to try to find something for the parents as they drove through the parade to have decor for their cars.
Awesome.
That was my two ways. I also had explored maybe doing the decor with the parents as a fundraiser along with the PTAs. So let me get in touch with the PTA and kind of do something similar to what Liz Romani was doing for the homecomings, doing the, win waivers, maybe have businesses sponsor something along the route that the students were going to be entering into wherever this drive-through was going to occur.
Right.
I had to think logistics, right? Where am I going to get the most bang for my buck? Right. There's five there, although 5 seems like a lot, it's still management. We're home base. So I work out of my garage.
Right.
Since all of this happened, since COVID happened, my husband converted our garage into like my workspace.
Awesome.
And so I kind of gotten it all set up and stay clean for about a day. But I still had to be conscious about, one high school here has 400 graduates.
Right.
And there's 30. So can I handle 1,000, toppers or 1,000 garlands? And if I do, what is the price point for that? And what is the maximum I could make? What is the maximum I could produce if they all went on the same day? There were so many unknowns.
Right.
So that's when I decided I'm going to go to the school. I'm going to go to the school route. And that's when I started reaching out, trying to figure out, okay, who's heading up this drive-through graduation?
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So then what was the process that you went through to be able to bid for the county?
So the first thing, I started reaching out to everyone that I knew that could get me some information as to what was going to happen. So I'd already, prior to everything happening, booked 2 proms. So I went back to those 2 prom coordinators and said, do you know what is your school going to do about the drive-through graduation? They're going, I don't know. I don't know. I was going, okay. I was like, well, here's a flyer, thanks to Jonathan Fudge, who does great
Yes.
clip, because I can't do that stuff. So I always call Jonathan like, hey, I need a flyer, and he helps me out. Here are some things. I put together some offerings.
Right.
It was columns, arches, party poles, wind waivers. It was a few things I put on this sheet. Like, here are some things that I'm thinking about that may be good for this drive-through graduation. Can you get it to somebody?
Right.
Even, if it's not you. And they said, oh yeah, sure. So that was my first trying to get in. Then I started going, who do I know that works in these schools?
Right.
It's, administrators. So I'm calling former administrators or people, PTA presidents, everyone that could tell me something. I'm sending this flyer, to everybody, because I still don't know the structure because everything's happening so fast.
So just a quick question. So those of you who are listening, don't fall asleep. I want you to type in for me. Currently, have you ever done any type of event for your local school system? So what I want you to do is, if you have, I want you to type in what it is. Have you done a prom? Have you done a homecoming? Have you done a fundraiser? Have you just served on a PTA? Have you done decorations for a carnival? Are you an entertainer who twisted balloons for a school? So type in the comments if you've ever worked for a school, and if so, in what capacity. Just making sure I keep them awake. So you were using your contacts to get out with people. And then what was the end? How did you finally get that right person?
I got the right, the flyer got to the right person because the county had formed a committee of all the school representatives. Okay. And my prom contact got the flyer to her principal who was on the committee, because I figured out, okay, there's a committee. Who is on the committee? And that's how, and I went back, can you get it to the principal? Got it. So that's how it got to the committee.
Excellent.
Then what day was that? I sent you, I was driving.
It was only like 3 days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe it was last Thursday.
Okay.
Maybe Thursday or Friday. I got a message saying, hi, we're from the school system. I want to speak to you about your balloon decor. And this came from the county office. So I'm going, oh, I'm at the top. So that's when I'm sending you messages. Yes. Like, look what I got. I got it to somebody. Somebody sees me. They know I'm here. They know I exist.
Right.
Want me to keep going?
And so when you got that, what did you do what helped you put together your bid for the schools?
Okay. So one of the things, and it's on the flyer, I'm a believer of getting people on the phone. She sent me an email, but my response to her email was not an email. It was an email requesting a phone call. I would love to speak with you. And I always, when I'm I don't like to leave my request open. I say, could you give me 3 days and times that will work for you? Not just, oh, I want to speak to you sometimes. I want to get them committed to me. Yeah. It will only take 30 minutes. Thank you for reaching out. I would love to speak to you about what I have to offer and about our company. What can you offer 3 days and times that will work for you in the next week? Bam. She sends it back. You can call me at 1:00. It's the same day. I'm like, oh, great. I'm moving.
Right.
So I get the person on the phone. And I always say, like, once I get you on the phone, you're sold. Like, I'm putting in, I'm coming full, not sales, but I'm going to build a relationship. And establish myself as a professional who wants to support you in what you're trying to do. And I'm going to come alongside you, not just, I'm trying to get you to buy something from me. Right. But how can I support you in supporting these graduates so that they can have an experience, the best experience given the situation?
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And so then what was the next step for you that they said, okay, this is how you are able to get the job?
So she was very upfront that I was going to be bidding against a former vendor who they'd already used.
Okay.
So I was already feeling like, well, they already have a relationship with someone. She was very clear that, we're soliciting the bids. We want you to put in your bid, but we are looking at individuals who we have already worked with. So I'm going, Okay, now I'm like, I really got to dial it up because they have history. I don't. So what's going to set me apart? That was Thursday. So I decided I was not going to rush and try to get something to her fast. I wanted to get something to her that was of quality and that was well thought through. So I was going to take the weekend. I sent an email. Thank you for your time on the phone today. You will receive something to me by the opening of business on Monday, so that she knew when it was going to come and not be like, well, she didn't send in 5 minutes from after I got off the phone.
Right.
So I submitted a PowerPoint. I did it in a PowerPoint presentation.
Nice.
Yeah. So I started off and I was talking to Linda Perry, and she said, don't just submit the numbers. Start off telling about yourself. And I said, okay. So, giving myself that weekend made me think through and talk with you as well about what they were asking, because the initial ask was an arch. But as you and I spoke, it was like, well, if it's going to be for a photo opportunity, is the arch going to be in the photo frame? I knew the factors that the graduations were going to last 2 days. Our arch is going to last outdoors for 2 days. Because then what happens, the graduates that show up on the second day have floppy pictures. I got, wimpy looking balloons in all the graduates' photos and the last
Right.
2 kids' photos. We talked, okay, photo frames are an option. I consulted with some people in the community, and I decided I'm going to give them, at first it was going to be 3 choices. Then I saw your post, I saw Party People's post with the magic arch, and I was like, that's the 4th option. That's the high end.
Right.
Bentley of the options. And I started off my response on Monday morning. Although I would love to provide you with these beautiful arches for your stage for the graduates, and I am willing and capable, I would like to explain to you or show you some additional options that may help you meet your goals. And here are the reasons why. 1, I said I started with columns. They're easier to move for 2 days. These can be relocated back in the school, and they may be more, they may last, the full 2 days.
That's great.
Disassembling an arch.
Yeah.
Number 2, if you stated that you wanted this to be a photo op, arches tend to be high, depending on the position of your cameras. You may not get the balloons in your photo frame. But if you still want it, this is what, so I worked into it. Then I went to the magic arch, which was the Cadillac. Although this may not be the most, this is the most expensive of the package. This is the one that's I can probably give you more of a guarantee of durability to give you 2 days. So I was giving her options, and I ended up giving her 4 options. It was columns with the school name on the balloon topper, a regular classic arch, spiral arch, and then the magic arch.
And so which one did she end up getting?
None of them. They came back with something different. They came back with columns, but ironically, with that topper of the same balloon that kind of went viral for me with the graduation top. So they want columns, but with the toppers.
All right. So it's the basic latex garland with your graduation topper. Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
Which honestly, Joette, I was happy about.
Yeah.
Because it was easier. Once I saw the schedule and I saw that there were 12 schools on one day, I was like, oh, I can drop a column in. That's easy. I can run this route. And this has to be done by 9 a.m. 2 per school, Shay. I was like, I can put these in a U-Haul, bam, 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 versus being on site constructing arches.
Yeah. So what's happened is you're going to be delivering 2 columns to 29 schools.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And on one day, there's 12 different deliveries.
Yes.
So what's neat about this whole story that I love and that I want to make sure you guys understand is that oftentimes in the balloon industry, people call us, and I'll give the example of that I get all the time is, oh, we're having a fun run and we want a helium balloon arch outside for the day of the event. And I'm like, that's great. It's raining season. So no, I won't do that. And I'm going to do air-filled columns or arch for you on framework instead. And the client's like, no, I want helium. And I'm like, I've been there, I've done it, I've watched my balloons go to the ground and be popped. So we will not offer that for you, but this is what I can do for you. And so one of the things that I love about Sharita's story is she's saying, hey, I took control of that conversation. And I said, I know you're asking me for an arch and I'll give you a bid on that, but I'd really like you to know these other things that we can do that are going to probably work better for you. So that's where being a professional balloon decorator, whether you've been doing it for 30 minutes or you've been doing it for 30 years, when you take control of that conversation and that bidding and show your expertise and your knowledge and give them information that they may not have thought of, that's when we take it up to that next level. And I think that's one of the great things with Sharita is she took control of that and said, you know, hey, here are some things that you may want to consider. So I love it. So you talked about online presence because you were originally online, figuring out who the people were. You stayed current. You understood the school system structure. You got the person on the phone. What do you mean by being transparent?
So when I was in the conversation with her and when I found out that I was going to bid against a previous vendor, I just decided I was going to be vulnerable and say, I really would love to establish a relationship with Guilford County school system. And I may not have the history, but I'm very confident in my skill set. And this would be a great opportunity for me to show you this. So I said it, you know, I was at first, it was like, part of me was like, I'm a bid again, you know, but I decided I'm just going to be open and transparent and say, I want to work with you. I want this relationship. This is something that I have sought out in the past. And this is, you know, and for me to be here and to be bidding, you know, in this, not for a school, but for your whole system, this will open a lot of opportunities for me, not just at a school system level, but with 29 schools.
That's wonderful.
And I said it, I would love for you to, you know, give me that. And if once I give you my presentation, if we need to come back to the table, to have a conversation about what I present, I'm completely open to doing that. Because for me, this was not about money. It was about relationship.
That's awesome. I love it. And people are saying this is so inspirational. And I agree. That's the thing is, I want people to understand that it doesn't take being in the industry for 2 decades to be able to get a contract with a school system. It can be somebody who's new in the industry, but just works on doing it professionally and taking the steps and the follow through to get the phone call, to get the connection. So I love that Sharita is sharing all these steps with us. When you said presentation is everything, you talked about having your professional graphics that were set up and just how you worded everything. So that's amazing. You gave them options. And now what about being prepared?
So I wrote down this, this quote, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So it wasn't, you know, you could say I got lucky that the flyer got to the right person at the right time. But a part of this was I was prepared when the opportunity presented itself. So some things she asked me that were very clear. One, do you have insurance?
Yep.
Yes, I do. She said that was the first thing. The second part was she got into a conversation about all the schools had different colors, you know, and I said, I already have a database of every one of your schools and all the colors. I was already ready for it. So I went into it like I was going to a job interview.
Love it.
Already prepared.
You did your homework.
I did my homework. I was like, yep, I know you have this many repeating colors. These many schools already use the same colors. So I've already studied. I don't know your chart, but the furthest school in the county is this many. I've already tried the logistics. I don't know what my setup time is, but I know I got 23 miles from the north school to the south. Like I was letting her know, like I'm ready. I'm ready, prepared. And then the other part too, some things I didn't think about was if you are a minority or if you are a female or if you are a veteran, think about becoming minority business certified, because when you bid in county or state jobs, that is something that there's a certain percentage of those jobs that go to WBE, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, or veteran-owned businesses. So if you fall in any of those categories, because that was the next question, do you have a certification? No, but I will by Monday.
So
I was like, yeah, I started that, that
and
part.
so how does that process work? Is it just basically a form that you fill out, or do you
Yep.
have to go through some hoops?
It's a lot of paperwork, but if you have had, if you do at least do some type of accounting that you keep, maybe a QuickBooks, or you should be able to pull most of your reports that you would need out of QuickBooks. It's basic things that, if you have some pretty sound business practices. So that's the part about being prepared. Sometimes I know it's easy to get caught up into just sending PayPals or Cash Apps or Venmos. But if you take the time, to make sure you have those systems in place, you can get the reporting and things you need done.
And is that registration with the state or with the?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think each state, and like I think my state is combined with Virginia. There's 2 like hubs for each one that you can go through to do that.
Okay. So your next tip was to leverage your network and community.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So again, I talked about some of the people that I met at Profit and Promotions at the retreat: Jonathan, Sheila, Linda. I mean, you obviously, different people that I've met that I was able to go to and say, hey, this is what I have. Can you read over it? Will you look at my PowerPoint? Will you check my numbers? I'm not that great with doing the mock-ups, but I knew that Jonathan does that a lot. And so I'm calling him, hey, I want this to look like this. I think it would be great to show them something. I'm running numbers. Sheila, I know you work with schools a lot. How do you give them a discount? I'm leveraging my community, my network.
That is awesome. So guys, for those of you who are coming in a little bit late to the game, Sharita joined us in Orlando for our live event. And at that, one of the number one reasons that I personally invested in going to trainings over the years and continue to go to all the trainings that I can and create my own live trainings is I cannot tell you how valuable it is to sit next to somebody, get to know them, and then when you're gone and you're in the middle of these situations, to be able to pick up the phone, send a message, and have people respond to you. It's a total different relationship than just meeting somebody online. And so to me, it's like one of those proud mom moments of, number one, I love it when my alumni help each other out. And I also love it when my alumni just go for their goals. And so for me, this was a double win when Sharita was telling me this story, because I loved how many people had helped her out that she had met in Orlando. It's like, okay, it's worth all the work I put into doing this, because I want you guys to understand that power of, sometimes as a business owner, we think we have to do it all on our own and we have to do it all by ourselves. And we don't. The balloon community is honestly full of the most amazing people I've ever met in the world that are giving and want to help each other out. So I love that you were able to use the network to put that all together. And then tell us a little bit about follow-up.
Again, I think, just courtesy. Anytime someone offers you their time, like as my contact did, to get on the phone, just sending back a thank you. My first follow-up was the thank you for your time today in the call. And you can be expecting something from me by the beginning of business Monday morning. Once I submitted the bid, or the PowerPoint, the bid, that was Monday. And I waited a couple days. What happened, the county released the schedule of when all the drive-bys were going to happen. So I'm like, okay, the planning committee is planning, because now we got a schedule. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so I wonder where, if I'm in this planning. And I was sitting back going, okay, I'm just going to reach back out. Hi, I saw the schedule of the drive-bys. Looks like things are moving. Please let me know if you have any questions for me. I was not I'm still, I am following up to say I'm still following along, and I'm going to follow up, which was, I guess, goes to 11. I was okay if she would have said no. I would have obviously been disappointed. Like, oh yeah, thank you. By the way, we forgot to get back and tell you we went with someone else.
Right.
But I was following up and letting her know that I was following up with what was going. I'm invested in the community as well.
That's awesome.
Thank you for the message.
I love it. I like this one a lot. Don't be afraid of no.
No. I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, when my my ego flared up when I heard I'm going to compete against someone else. And I was a little nervous about sending the message when I saw the schedule come out, like, man, they didn't contact me. But I was like, I'm going to say something. And if she tells me no, at least I know I've learned something in the process. I've won either way. Either way. Like, I understand going through the bid process. I know what they asked me for. I know these are the things that they were looking for. So the next go round, I'll be prepared. But I was okay, you know. Obviously, I wanted to bid, but.
All right. And your final tip about the way you think.
Yeah. So we were in the car driving back, and I was talking to my husband, because at this point, I decided I'm gonna act like I got this gig, right? I know the dates. I got my logistics plan ready. And I looked to my husband and I said, if I get the bid, and he said, when you get the bid, and I said, when I get the bid, this is what we're going to do. And I had gotten the staff. I knew who was going to do what. I knew what days. I had taken the calendar. I need a U-Haul for these days. We're going to inflate these schools on these days. We're going to store. We need I started writing down my whole list of everything I needed to buy, how many toppers, how many colors. Joette, 15 minutes later, I look at my phone, and there was the email that said, thank you. When I tell you I screamed to the top of we were in the car, and he was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I got the bid, you know, and that's when I started letting everybody.
Yay. And April saying, oh, you got me excited over here.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
The thing, guys, is that for those of you who haven't followed me, because we've got a lot of new people into Balloon Coach community recently, but one of the number one things that I have been preaching for the last 5 years is the power of positive thinking. So many of the clients that I work with in one-to-one coaching and group coaching are coming to my events. I often hear, I can't, I'm not good enough, they're not going to answer my call, what if they say no? It's part of human beings is that we often are going to protect ourselves, or we're just going to say negative things because in our history, in our life, people have told us that we're not good enough and that we can't do something. And so it's kind of a natural tendency for most people when you're going into a situation and you're bidding against somebody else to go, they're going to get it because they're the ones that have the relationship. And when her husband gave her that advice of, no, it's not, you know, it's when you get it, you know, when you turn that way of thinking, I say that to my coaching clients, to my daughter, to my family every day when somebody says, I can't or I won't. And when you change that to I will, it just puts the right vibes out into the world. And I have a whole long thing about all of that I would love to share with you guys in the future. And I'm going to tell you about an opportunity for that. But I cannot harp on it enough to say that when you change your mindset and when you change the words that you're using, and the way Sharita went into this entire bid process from the get-go was, I've got this job. I'm doing the extra homework. I'm finding out what the colors are of the school, and had done that in advance. She understood the logistics. That's part of that mindset of I've got the job, so that you're setting it up for success from the get-go rather than just having that defeated attitude. Okay, somebody else is going for the bid, so I'm not going to get it. So I love this story. So Sharita, thank you so much for taking the time to share all this with us tonight. I know I've got a couple of questions from people that I was going to ask before we share the quote that you sent me. One was talking about when they asked you for proof of insurance. Did they just ask you to send like a copy of the policy, or did they ask you to be an additional insured?
They have to be. I've called my agents. So both. Do you have it? Yes, we would need to be added as an additional insured.
And do you mind sharing who you use for your insurance?
State Farm.
State Farm. So yeah, so for those of you who are not a part of my mastermind program yet and have access to the webinars, or those who do and just didn't realize it, we had a webinar a couple months ago that was on insurance, and Kenneth Bama from Bama Insurance shared a lot of great tips, and he can insure a lot of people who are home-based around the United States, and he has a really good reputation of working with balloon people. So that's one of the companies I tell people to check out. But what I love about folks who do local with State Farm or any other insurance agent local, now you're building a business relationship with somebody in your community. And now that helps build that professionalism of, hey, I'm a balloon decorator in my area and I get my insurance through a local person. The more you can support local business, the more the local business is going to support you. So, and that is who we've used in the past too, is the State Farm Insurance. So one person's saying they're a veteran and they've been in business in over a year. Who do they need to talk to about being a vet-owned business? What was the department that you reached out to?
It is, I'll look it up.
Okay. So while you're looking that up, let me check out what you guys are saying here. So yeah, I cannot stress enough how very important it is to have insurance, to have that liability insurance to protect you and your clients. And if you are working with a school, if you're working with large venues, if you're working with companies especially, they're often going to ask for proof of insurance. And I'm not going to go into all the details because it is covered in one of our webinars. But with the insurance, many things like the schools are going to ask to be put on your insurance as an additional insured. And so for some insurance companies, they charge you per time you do that, and other times they don't. But hello, when you're getting accounts for 29 schools, you want to pay the extra for the additional insured if you have to. It's just, it's part of doing business. It's part of overhead.
I know I've seen a couple pictures about seeing the PowerPoint.
What is the framework of your PowerPoint? What items did you include? Oh, so I think they're asking about the PowerPoint that you presented to them.
So I wish if I could share.
Do you want to share screen? I can stop my sharing. You can push.
Let me find it. Let me see where I've dug it in a bunch of stuff on my computer, and then I'll
pull
it up real quick.
And would this be a good time to do the poem, or you want to wait until after we do the screen share?
You can share it. Let me find my PowerPoint.
Okay, so cool. So I'm going to read this poem to you guys that Sharita sent. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end of triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat.
Daring greatly. That was when we were in the car, my husband, he said daring greatly. He was like that he said that's what it was. And I was like, yeah. I was like, for me being a year in, and I know the companies here who have been around 30 plus years. And I was like, I know that's who I'm bidding against. I knew, and he was like, and I was like, I'm going, just like I got this. This is mine, because this is mine. And and I told him, I said, one thing I started thinking, I was like, now I'm thinking, I said, at the university level, they won't let certain caterers, there's a preferred caterer list. And he said, yeah. I said, so you can't have food at that school or in these things unless you use that caterer. And I said, why come I couldn't? What if I become the preferred balloon decorator for the county? And he was like, I was like, that's my next thing. He was like,
you go. Like, yes. I love it. Were you able to find the stuff?
I have it.
Cool. And one of the questions was if you're going to be doing the same decor at all of the schools.
Yeah, same. So yes and no. The county gifted every school the stage decor, the full stage. Every school gets stage. Every school gets the 2 columns. They get a backdrop and they get lighting. So every school will have the same columns. Then the PTAs at each school can do add-ons. So some of them are adding on arches for when they first come in. So now I'm starting to get the calls from the PTAs because they're saying it's seamless to have everything match and be the same. So they're starting to send those PTA So I've already gotten some of them. So there's the school part, and then there's the add-on.
And so since she is working through the school board, one of the questions was about insurance, and do you have to do the insurance for everybody? When you're working with the county, you're able to put the county on as your additional insurance. So that's like what we've done with Party People. We are preferred vendor, or, or what's that called? Not preferred vendor, but we're approved vendor for all of our local school systems. So each one of the counties that we service here in Florida, we've put them on as an additional insured on our policy. So were you able to find the stuff to share with us?
I do. I have
Okay,
it.
excellent.
So if I share, it said host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Well, that's interesting. Let's go here and
oh, that's me.
let's see. Allow Panos to rename this. How very strange.
Sorry.
I've never had it say that before. Let me see if I can make it go here. Nope. I'm going to make you the host and see if that'll work. All right, see if that'll let you do it.
Okay. Okay.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Okay. So again, I am not, I admire everybody that can do the mock-ups. That has not been an area that I have figured out quite yet. I'm going to work on it though. And so this was it. What I did was I went through, and here are the prices. So I gave them the first option, which was the classic. I broke it all the way down, how much I was charging for each one, the labor and delivery, the total, and then the school discount. That was my first one. You see the picture. Then I gave them option 2, which was the same thing. It was just adding the foils because another school had already asked me for the foil option. So I put that in there as well. This was option 3A, and you'll see I called it 3A, which honestly was the lowest dollar-wise, but it was the one that I wanted because, again, I wasn't bidding on this one for money. I was bidding on it for the relationship, but I knew I could execute this easier than trying to construct those arches at 4 o'clock in the morning. I could just drop these off, especially with 12 schools. Then 3B was just adding the name.
Right.
Then I couldn't get the picture of the magic arch in the thing. So this was the Cadillac. Because of the events being 2 days, I was very concerned about the latex being outside. So I offered them that option as well. That was it. When they came back, they didn't choose any of them, obviously. They somewhat a modified version of my options. And then most of the schools are getting this one. So I charge for a 10 by 10, $12 a foot. So $240 plus $75 for the labor and delivery on each school. And then once the school gets over $2,000, I give a 10% discount to the school system. Once it gets over a certain price point, I increase it to 15%. Okay. And so that was where I landed. Right. So it was pretty simple, but she sent back a message saying, I'm very impressed with the presentation.
So that's the nice thing. I know for me, I have been challenged in the past of working with graphics. So I typically hire people to do that. And being a part of a team now with Party People events, as their marketing manager, our office manager is excellent at doing the graphics. So with our presentation, she takes care of all that part, and I just, send her some ideas. So over time, learning how to use these programs or purchasing them from people is a great way to make you stand out and look professional. So I love you sharing that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Hold on. I'll show you what. So then hold on, let me pull this one up real quick.
How tall are the columns that you ended up doing for the end?
They're going to be 6 feet with the topper. So about 8 feet. Let me show you this. So when they asked me to come back, they sent a picture of what they wanted, and this is what it ended up being.
Cool.
And so now once I've gotten that part secured, because this is easy. Oh, sorry. Now it's working with each one of the schools. So I think I'm up to like 4 drive-through arches. One school has 3 arches by themselves. They want like triple arches. And so now it's working through the logistics of the individual schools.
Wonderful. Yay! I am so excited for you because it takes this important time where you just go for it, you know, and then you figure it out. And so people are asking, do you have bases? Are they going to be disposable? How are you figuring out your staff? There's lots of questions going on.
Okay.
So as far as framing and those kind of things go, you have to decide for yourself what kind of business you want to run and what you want to have available for your clients. And those are both options that you can use. You can do the metal bases that you go back and get, or you can do the disposable bases like David Mahoney with the concrete. And with Party People events, Jonathan oftentimes charges people for a strike, and we go back and even get the concrete bases when we run out of metal. So you can use all those options. Just it's going to be based on what your budget is and what your space allows you for inventory. Because for those of you who are home based, is where you're going to put all that product afterwards. So, are there any questions on there that you see that you want to?
Yeah. And so for me, you know, we talked earlier, right before, again, COVID hit, I had purchased a whole lot of the metal bases because I was doing outside orientation for the university that I never got to use because the event was canceled about 2 days before the school shut down. And so I ended up having a lot of the metal bases. And then what I realized after I got the schedule was that there's a 1-day break between each, round.
Gotcha.
And so I have like a day to reset for the next set of schools and then reset again and reset again.
Can you do me a favor and go up to where it says panelists and go to my name and make me the host?
Okay. Okay. Do I have to do it?
So yeah, where you see there's like a list of participants and panelists.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to my name and go to the more button and then make me the host.
I thought I just did it.
Let me see. Yep, it's letting me do it now. Okay, cool.
So someone was asking about the staff.
Yes. Asking how you decide who will be your staff, and are they just helping with setup, or are they also helping you assemble the balloons?
Both. So initially, before I'd gotten the bid and I was thinking that it was going to be arches, knowing that the drive-through started at 9 a.m. and I had to get to 6. There was a set that started at 9 in the morning, and then the afternoon started at 2. We had mapped it out using the app Road Warriors Road Warriors is an app where you can put all the addresses in and it'll optimize the route. So I had taken the Road Warriors and started figuring out. And what I decided was I had a framing crew, which was my husband and my daughter's boyfriend. They were going to frame ahead of myself and my daughter. So they were going to hit the schools ahead of us, frame up all the arches. We were coming back with all of the balloons inflated in big mattress, putting them in the big plastic bags. And I was renting U-Hauls and labeling them for every school. Then I was also going to discuss with the school the option of storing the balloons the day before in the building because there's no one there. And then just storing my bag, and then I could just bring it out once my frame crew came. But then when they went with the column option, I'm like, oh, this is real easy. So then today I went down to U-Haul and worked a deal with them where they're letting me keep a U-Haul for 2 weeks.
Excellent. That is great. And that's the thing is you've got to always look at that when you're charging a delivery fee. So many times people are afraid to add that delivery fee on. And for me personally, when I started the business, I bought an existing company with a 10-foot trailer and I pulled it with my minivan. And then I upgraded and I got a larger 12-passenger van and took out the seats. And then I upgraded my trailer to a 12-foot trailer with the ramp that went down. And so that's the thing is that they always say, if you get it, you'll fill it. So if you're one of those people that you're like, oh, I'm tired of renting U-Haul trucks, then that's when you want to look at possibly getting a van or a trailer. But until when you're in that time between, don't try to just stuff things in your car. Just charge enough so that you can go rent a U-Haul, and it makes a big difference in how you appear and how much you can put in at one time.
And something else too, Joette, with U-Haul, again, going in and having conversations with people. When I walked into the local U-Haul and I told them I'm supporting this class, I mean, right now, everybody's on board with supporting the graduates, right, of 2020. They basically charged me half and said, we want to, like, that is awesome. We're going to put, you're going to have to pay your mileage, but we will prorate because you're going to have it for so many days. But they were even willing to offer me a huge discount, so I'm not paying the per day fee on the U-Haul.
That is excellent.
But it was having a conversation.
Yes. Awesome. And Gary was asking if you happen to find the information about the applying for being a vet or.
Yeah, it's called the National Minority Supplier Development Council. So NMSDC. And there should be a regional for every, and I think that's where, I'm not sure if that's where the veterans apply to, but that's where I applied through.
All right, so Nancy, Michael.
Yeah, Nancy, Michael, Sam, David, Charlie.
All right, I'll put that in the chat real quick. All right, guys, any other questions before we do our wrap up that you would like to ask while we have Sharita with us this evening? Here's the thing. What Sharita did, you can do too. What you want to do is you want to stay active online. You want to connect with people. You want to build relationships and be in the right place at the right time. And then when the situation presents yourself, go for it professionally, put together what you need to, and just go for it. You know what? They may say no, but that's okay because you learn from that experience. Because one of the things people always ask me is, well, Joette, what about all the time I put into a proposal, like how she put together that PowerPoint? What if we don't get it? Then we've wasted all that time. Not if you do it right, because now that she's got that proposal up, even if they had said no, now she's ready to do that proposal with another school district or with another corporate client or with a school in the fall when it's time for fundraisers and homecoming. So one of the things that I find sometimes people don't realize is those building blocks of building those professional graphics and presentations is you can modify it for the next person as long as you make sure that you label it good, because this is where I sometimes mess up because I have so many files on my computer, is you want to label that and put that presentation in a couple of different files so that you have it to use in the future. Got a question about what QuickBooks is. QuickBooks is a program for you to track your money. So as a business, for your accounting software, to be able to know what you're spending on your business and what income is coming in, QuickBooks Online is the #1 thing that most small business and balloon professionals use, because you can enter information onto your phone, onto your desktop, and like with us, Party People Events, we do over $500,000 a year in sales, so we have a large team. And so our secretary and office manager is in Orlando. The owner and I both live in Lakeland. Our shop is in Auburndale, so we're in all these different locations. And by having QuickBooks Online, anybody from the staff can enter information and put it into it. And then be able to see, oh, we spent way too much money this month on our staff, or we spent a ton of money on helium, or we spent, this much money on balloons. So having the QuickBooks is just a way for you to quickly see what your financials are when you're applying for a special program where they're asking you like how much money did you have coming in, or what have you put out to any expenses. All right, cool. So And if you don't understand QuickBooks, then there are virtual bookkeepers who will actually take care of everything for you. If you go to ballooncoach.com and click under blog and then put QuickBooks, you'll see two blogs that I did on it with some conversations with a bookkeeper who's QuickBooks certified that just gave some tips and hints that can help you out too.
And also, Joette, it's real. I just want to stress again, it doesn't matter how much income or how much you're doing in sales. It is so important for you to have some documentation, because even with the SBA loans and the PPP loans, they were asking things that are very quick to assess in a program like QuickBooks, like your cost of goods sold, or what your revenues were for different months. Even when I went to apply for the SBA stuff through the CARES Act. So I would say have something that you can get reporting on your finances.
That's awesome. So one of the things that I want to just let you guys know about real quick is, for those of you who aren't really confident in the sales process right now, I have a free download that you can get from another webinar that we did last week. And if you go to balloonbosspro.com and go to the very bottom, right here it says access 5 steps from quote to cash. So if you put your name and email address in there and hit submit, my computer system will send you the 5 steps and the PDF, and it'll also share you the link of that free webinar that I did that was on the sales process that can help you out with it. If you are interested in having extra help in your business building, you can go right here to Balloon Boss Mastermind to click learn more. And right now I have a special going on, which I am probably going to be stopping either the 1st of June or definitely by July. Because the value of my Balloon Boss Mastermind is over $297 a month for the membership, and it's $97 a month. And right now I'm giving you $50 off. So for $47, you have access to trainings on how to make yard art, how to make balloon columns, how to make balloon arches, how to market your business, flyers and pictures that you can use for your own sales. So I wanted to let you guys know that this program's here to help you out, because I see so many people spending hours and hours trying to ask Facebook groups and YouTube and looking all over for information on how to do things to be successful. And I have it all right here in a nice package for you. So I wanted to let you know, if you're looking for that extra support and training to help you keep moving on, or just to encourage you to go for these kind of goals, check that out. And then if you would love to hang out with Sharita and 17 other amazing instructors, the Balloon Boss Pro Summit is coming up in November in Orlando. And yes, at this point, we are still planning on having a live event. I'm praying that we're doing events of 100 people at this point in time. CBA exam is going to be offered on Saturday, and then we'll have our training Sunday through Thursday, and some bonus things going on Friday. If for any reason due to COVID, we are not able to have this live event, I will turn it into a 1.5 month deep dive mastermind experience, and all of my instructors will be instructing online. So, but I am just having the power of positive thinking, and I'm feeling very confident that events will be coming back. I know in Orlando, there's some events for a lot of people that are currently being planned for even before then. So I wanted to let you guys know that these options are here. The one reason I wanted to tell you about the Balloon Boss Balloon Boss Pro Summit is that the 6-month payment plan option is ending on May 31st, because you have to have 6 months to be able to pay for it ahead of time. So if you're wanting to have the best value, you can pay for it in full, or if you need to have the 6-month payment, you can sign up there. All the information's there. If you have any questions about any of my training programs and if they're the right fit for you, just send me an email at Joette, Joette, at ballooncoach.com. And the last thing I just want to tell you about is, sometimes people say, hey, I just want a course where I can go listen to it on my own. I don't want to have to worry about coaching. I don't need to be in another Facebook group. I just want to watch some trainings. So my Balloon Boss Pro course is set up now through May 31st for a one-time payment of $249. That is to be a founding member of that group. I will be adding more content over the next 3 months to that program, so that you have everything you need, from how do I set up my business license, how do I get insurance, to how do I build a team and grow my company to the next step. anybody who applies for any of my trainings, you will be getting a bonus on May 31st and June 7th. I'm doing an online free training as a bonus for anybody who's in any of my programs to work on goal setting, on making your marketing plan, and a vision for your success. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there and let you guys know if you're needing that extra support and help, we've got lots of great ways to help you out. And I just want to be your cheerleader and help you in that process. I want to double check what questions we had come up. All right, and so Rachel is saying that she's so glad that she has All Pro Web Tools because she's able to see all her money. So anybody who doesn't have a customer management system, All Pro Web Tools is a customer management system that will talk to Balloon Suite, which is an online website program that is used by a lot of balloon professionals, but you don't have to have that website to use All Pro. Some people use Dubsado, some people use 17 Hats, some people use Manager Sal. But a customer management system allows you to just see all that information at once. So some people will use that instead of the QuickBooks. So Rachel, thanks for bringing that up. How long did the process take you from going from, okay, you gonna give it a proposal to, yes, you got the job?
A week. No, it was 6 days. That was Thursday to Wednesday.
Okay, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so I was getting a question about the difference between my pro plan and my monthly, and I know it gets a little bit confusing. Here's what happened. I found out that some people in the industry want to pay me one time to be able to access training. They don't need to hang out with me. They don't need a cheerleader. They just want the training. So that's what the course is. The course is the fundamental trainings, how to build balloons, what inflators to use, how to be a business, all right? It's the framework and the skills that you need to be a balloon professionals. What Balloon Boss Mastermind, my monthly program, is for $97 a month, that's ongoing support to help you master your skills as a business professional and to help encourage you to take action. Because here's what happens. Sharita, she's a rock star. She came to the live event and she applied what she learned. But you know what happens to about 50% of people who go to a live training? We go to an event, we spend a week there, we're overwhelmed, we have so much going on, we have good intentions, but when we get back home, we're working a full-time job, or we're working our balloon business so much that we're working in our business and don't have time to work on it, or we're dealing with our family and our friends, and we start to forget all the things that we learned. So what the mastermind experience is for is to help remind you what you learned and then to help remind you to take action and to support you as you do take action. So the monthly program, the $97 a month, the mastermind program, is really one of my favorites because I get to have interaction with people and answer your questions and help you out. So that's what the difference is between those. And if you have other questions, I don't want to waste a bunch of time tonight because you guys came on to learn some really great information and I want to respect Sharita's time and your time. If you want to say, Joette, I just need a 10-minute free consultation with you to find out where I fit in, email joette@ballooncoach.com. We'll hang out for a 10-minute conversation, and I may suggest you go to some other program. My programs might not be the right fit for you. I'm very honest with people. I am never going to try to fit you into my mold. I'm just going to let you know what options I have to help support you and encourage you. So thank you guys for those questions. I appreciate it. Sharita, did you see any questions come up that you need to address?
Oh, they want the flyer out. Maybe I can post it or something.
Yeah, if you don't mind posting that, like either in the mastermind group or in the Balloon Coach community, whichever you prefer. Okay. So if anybody's on tonight who's currently not a part of my Balloon Coach community group, Balloon Coach community is a place for us to hang out and encourage each other. So people like Sharita can go up and say, I got the bid, and then 100 people can go ah, and be happy for you and celebrate you. What I like in Balloon Coach community is I ask for people that when you put a post up like, hey, how much would you charge for that arch? I want you to have done the homework. And I want you to say, hey, I think for a 20-foot arch, I should be charging $250 plus a $25 delivery fee. What do you think about that? Oh, and by the way, I live in Salina, Kansas, or Lakeland, Florida, like I do. giving that information makes other people in the group, especially my people who've been around a while, a lot more willing to give you information and support you rather than just like, hey, how much is this? Because that's just lazy and people aren't going to respond to that. So I'm just letting you know that Balloon Coach community is set up to help you with your business side of things, when you're having marketing difficulties, when you're trying to figure things out. And then my paid programs are for those people who want really structured information and that continuous support. So that's the difference in my programs, because some people have been asking to get in like my mastermind program, but I have to send you a note and say, hey, you need to pay for that one first. So I wanted to let you guys know the difference in the groups on that. So Sharita, thank you so much for this amazing wealth of information. This is huge. And for those of you who are in my mastermind and my passport program, if you thought this was good, you're going to want to come back on Tuesday night, because Tuesday the 26th at 9 p.m. is my next regular monthly webinar, my paid folks. And we have got Chital from New Jersey sharing how extremely busy she has been and how she got that way. And then one of my other instructors from Summit, Sarah Meyer from Wisconsin Balloon Decor, is going to be sharing how she's offering her balloons so that she's being able to use up the stock that she has currently at her house. So guys, thank you so much for being on tonight. If you enjoyed this, please go into Balloon Coach community and show some love to Sharita. And if you're in other balloon groups or our group and you see people asking a lot of questions and needing some support, send them a little message and say, hey, have you heard about ballooncoach.com or balloonbosspro.com? You want to check that out. They can help you out a little bit. Your referrals to your friends helps our industry grow to be able to have more resources for you. The more people I have subscribing and participating, the more staff I can be able to have behind the scenes to help you guys have the resources you need to thrive and grow. So Sharita, thank you so much for your time tonight. It was a wealth of information, and I'm just so excited for you and the things that you're doing with your business. I mean, we've talked about this before. The business mindset that you already have obviously helps you move forward, but it's just that spirit of I can do this that I think sometimes it's hard for people, is that we often just think, oh, I'm not good enough. And I appreciate you're like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I did. And yeah, I wasn't sure. And yes, I was nervous, but I went for it. And they always say that being courageous, when you're being courageous, it means you step out in fear and do it anyway. And that's what builds your confidence. So I encourage you to be courageous. And even when you have fear of somebody saying no, or fear that you will not get the bid, or you fear that you're not good enough, step out, be courageous, and then through that process, your confidence will grow. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Take care and have an amazing night.